Check the mic, we're going live. Stories told, they rise and dive. Topics fresh with every spin. You won't guess what's coming in. Every week a new surprise. Minds awake, never lies. Conversations bold and free. Tune in now, just wait and see. This podcast is uncalled for. Catch us here, there's so much more. Laughs and tales you can't ignore. A journey that will leave you floored. In the night or in the day, just press play.
And hello everybody, welcome to the podcast. We're going to do something a little experimental for this episode. As you probably know, Taylor Swift is everywhere and has found a way to influence my podcast. Not in a bad way or anything, but this episode is kind of sort of Taylor influenced. So 2024, she releases her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department, and at the same time she released the first single from that, a very catchy song by the name of Fortnight. And along with that, she did a video challenge, the Fortnite challenge, where we see 14 different clips of things going on, including a clip of her making dinner, and Travis Kelce comes in for a quick kiss on the cheek while she's cooking, which was pretty funny. And one clip in particular that definitely tells me if it weren't Travis dating her, it would not be me, doing some sort of needlepoint project while wearing a Chicken Hawks shirt. So, yeah, not much. But I will go and do a version of the Fortnite challenge on this podcast, which would be this episode will string together 14 thoughts on certain subjects and everything. And what better way to start this challenge than reading the if I can find it, of course. We're going to start with talking about the Spotify thing that was sent to me. Just 1 second here. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is the Spotify list from 2024, Spotify.com/wrapped top artists and top songs of 2024. I kind of alluded to this during the Christmas episode. And then I realized y'all can't see what I'm talking about because this is an audio podcast. So it says I listened to Spotify in 2024 for 5,920 minutes. None of it for podcasts. By the way, I listen to my podcasts on different apps, especially the iHeart app. And yes, I do listen to my own podcasts. So yeah. So we've got the top 5 artists. Thank you, Swifties. Number 1 is Taylor Swift. So number 2 would be Tiffany. Any 80s music fans out there? Yeah, I Think We're Alone Now, which, by the way, is a cover. Probably her most famous song. My favorite songs of hers from that same album, by the way, include Spanish Eyes, Feelings of Forever, and Promises Made. In fact, Tales from the Interim Nets episode Delta was called Promises Made, Promises Broken, which derives directly from that song. Number 3 is Christina Chong, the actress who plays La'an Noonien Singh in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but is also a very good singer. I consider myself one of the lucky ones to have gotten an autographed CD of her EP, so 4-track EP. I stayed by my assertion. No Blame is my favorite song on that EP, but Twin Flames, that is a Muy Sexy Gente song. But I highly recommend all 4 of the songs on that little EP. Number 4, Anything But Joey. Of course, we had Jeff Plachek, their drummer, on the podcast. I'd go back and listen to his episode a little bit. Anything But Joey, when I had Brian on for our 100th episode, he brought up their song, Girl Roommate. Yeah, that's the song that got lots of play here in the KC area. But really, their signature song is Marcy 2. When I might have ruined it just by going through with it. And I think is more their signature song than Girl Roommate. So, apologies to Matt for butchering his song like that. So, Anything But Joey, you can definitely find them on Spotify and anywhere you can get music. It might be a little hard to find, but you might be able to find some of their stuff under the name Thulium, which again was their original name. So, and number 5, of course, is Sweet Caroline. Caroline's been on the podcast too. And her stuff is on Spotify and all the other platforms. I would recommend Reverb Nation with Caroline. And as far as her music, the song Love and Affection and Bad Hesitation, those songs I made music videos for, so do check those out. Now, let's get to the top 5 songs on this graphic, and they're all Taylor songs. So, thanks again, Swifties. Number 1, Love Story, Taylor's version. Very important we include the Taylor's version, and that's, I'm pretty sure everyone knows why the Taylor's version exists. But for those that don't, she had a bit of a dispute over the master copies for her first 6 albums. The guy who wound up purchasing those masters would not give them back, at least not in a way that would have been fair to everyone. So he held on to them, and Taylor decided, screw it, I'm going to re-record all my all those 6 albums, which I will warn you, if you are not a fan of country music, they are mostly her country stuff. So of those 6, 4, at least at the time I'm recording this, have been re-recorded and re-released, and one of them was her second album, Fearless, Taylor's version. On which is a Love Story. And that was what's notable about that song, is that the song that there's great video post Super Bowl of Taylor and Travis dancing to a remix of this song. And then pan over to Jason in the luchador mask, just doing whatever. So that's number 1. Number 2 is off the Tortured Poets apartment. But Daddy, I love him. Two notes about this song. Number one, there's a great YouTube clip. Just search for Travis, but Daddy, I love him. You can find it. But Travis Kelce doing New Heights. He's got the headphones on. He's listening to his guest to his left. Listen along, and then at one point his eyebrows go up. He turns and faces the camera, and it's kind of funny. Well, someone dubbed this to the chorus of "But Daddy, I Love Him," which is I'm running with my dress unbuttoned, screaming, "But Daddy, I love him." And it's at this line that the eyebrows go up. I'm having his baby. Turns and looks at the camera, eyes wide open. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. Really funny little clip. But the funniest line in the song for me is a little later, about midway through the song, second rendition of the chorus. It goes, I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning. And this line's interpreted as she's going after the fans who, I don't know, I guess, telling her, trying to tell her what to do with her life. So there's that one. Number 3 is I Can See You, Taylor's version, which has a kick-ass beat to it, and even equally kick-ass music video that I believe she directed herself. So good on you. Number 4 is Blank Space, Taylor's version. And number 5 is Afterglow, which is funny because it's my favorite Taylor song I stated on the podcast was Endgame, and which love the way it sounds. Love that it's basically a rap song, you know, and everything, but doesn't appear on my top 5, so that's interesting to note. And yeah, that's the way we are kicking off the Uncalled for Fortnight challenge. So this will be part 2 of our Fortnight challenge, and this one goes to the LA idiots. You know who I'm talking about, the trolls online who claim to be LA sports fans. That you know the types. The Rams are just coming home. No, they're not. Or they shouldn't have left LA in the first place. Okay, so let's address that first part, that part's there. 1994 and 1995, where was Los Angeles' plan to keep the team? I don't recall one existing. So unless there's a secret plan that we didn't know about, just kind of shut the fuck up about it. All right, and shut the fuck up about Georgia. She's dead, and she, unlike Stan, follows the NFL relocation guidelines because there was no plan in Los Angeles. Just as there really wasn't much of a plan in St. Louis to keep the Cardinals. All right, and let's face it, had it not been for those relocation rules and the fact that St. Louis actually did have a plan, the National Football League would not be at $790 million right now. All right. And as for this notion that they returned home, well, that's also not Los Angeles. You know where that team originally came from? Cleveland, Ohio. All right. They left right at the end. They started in 1937 in Cleveland and got the name Rams because their original owner was a big fan of Fordham University. See, you just learned something there. They took 1 year off during World War II. Obviously, you needed soldiers and all that. And I'll talk about a couple of other teams here in a sec that wartime affected them. But they took a year off during World War II, and then came back. And then their very last game in Cleveland was an NFL championship, which, they won before and up to LA the first time around. As far as I'm concerned, the term Los Angeles Rams should have died in 1995 when they moved to St. Louis. They should still be in St. Louis as far as I'm concerned. Stan broke the NFL's relocation rules, and that's why the NFL had to sell for $790 million, most of which is coming out of Stan's pocket. So fuck you, Stan, and fuck your little professional lying butt monkey, Kevin Demoff, as well, and fuck Jerry Jones. And on a similar tangent, these same idiots are saying, well, the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals in this case, should move back to St. Louis. Again, not their original home. Their original home was Chicago. And Chicago, Illinois. They started in 1898, so they predate the National Football League by at least a couple of decades, and are the only NFL team to have started in the 1800s. They're one of two charter teams in the NFL. I'll get to the second one in a little bit. One of three that's been around as long as the NFL. I'll get to the third one in a little bit too. But they are originally a Chicago team. They didn't come to St. Louis until 1960 because they were lagging behind one of those other two teams that I mentioned. And the NFL wanted to keep the AFL out of St. Louis. So there you go. They became the St. Louis Football Cardinals. No relation to the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals, although I am aware that there was once a trend, especially in the early parts of the 20th century, where the baseball and the football team would share the same name. That's why they're the New York Football Giants, because they used to occupy the same city as the New York Baseball Giants before the Baseball Giants moved to San Francisco. All right. So there you go. Your NFC West, if everyone went back home, to use your terminology, would be Chicago, Cleveland, San Francisco, and Seattle. NFC North, well, you're looking at NFC North that would have a team in Decatur, Illinois, and they wouldn't be the Bears, they would be the Staleys, and that's the other founding member of the NFL that's still around. We don't call them the Decatur Staleys anymore, we call them the Chicago Bears. But they're the other team that's been around from the start of the National Football League. The NFC North also has the other team that's been along as long as the NFL. Started in 1919, but weren't allowed to join the NFL until 1921. I'm, of course, referring to the Green Bay Packers. But this division would also have a team in Portsmouth, Ohio, a little small town just east of Cincinnati along the Ohio River. That's because that's the original home of the Detroit Lions, who, as of this recording, are poised to probably make the Super Bowl for the first time ever, and would be the last NFC team to do so. And of course, the Vikings have been in Minnesota since they started. NFC South would be largely untouched because none of those teams have ever moved. NFC East, well, bye-bye Washington Commanders, say hello to the Boston Braves. They were originally in Boston, and they were originally, once again, named after the baseball team. The baseball team now populating Atlanta, but they've been the Braves ever since. Then in Boston, that's when they picked up their racist name that they eventually did away with. And it could be argued that the Eagles are a resurrection of the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets in, I think that's also Eastern PA, but I'm not 100% sure. So just trying to throw that little note out there. Now, AFC, a little more straightforward. Let's start at AFC West. Denver would be the only team really staying home. They and the Chargers, because a lot of these LA idiots tend to ignore the fact that year one of the Chargers' existence as an AFL team was in Los Angeles. So yeah, the Chargers are actually back home. The Raiders, of course, their home would be Oakland. And for you, the reminder of their progression was Oakland to Los Angeles. That's what spurred the relocation policy for the league, was the Oakland to LA thing in the 80s. Then back to Oakland, and now Las Vegas, even though I think they and the Chargers, for that matter, actually earned the rights to be in LA. Because let's face it, St. Louis did more to keep their team than either San Diego or Oakland. So that's why St. Louis got a huge sum of money, and Oakland and San Diego, well, to quote Caddyshack, they'll get nothing like it. Of course, we would not have a professional football team here in KC. They would be back in Dallas, and they would be known as the Texans. Because, well, let's be honest, you can't have a team in Missouri called the Texans. So changing the name was kind of a needed one. But to name it the Chiefs, named after H.R. Bartle, yes. But where did H.R. Bartle get the nickname Chief? Well, he got it from starting the tribe of Mikose, which, full disclosure, I am a member of. And his tribal name was Chief Lone Bear. For those of you who are not in Kansas City scouting, it is a honors camping society. Only 2 spots in the entire nation that host this program, one of which is the H.R. Bartle Scout Reservation, just outside of Osceola, Missouri. And borrows very heavily on Native American culture. So it is textbook Native American appropriation. So is the Order of the Arrow, by the way. But we're talking about the tribe here. And the most senior paint position is chief, and it is in fact red paint. I could go on for a long time about that, but we're not. We're talking about football here. So, all right. So there's your revamped AFC West with everyone going back to where they came from: Dallas, Denver, LA, and Oakland. And if AFC North, that's a tricky one because remember we had the in the same vein as Kroenke out. You had way before that Art Modell moving the then Browns to Baltimore, being sued to keep the Browns' name in Cleveland, and that's how the Baltimore Ravens were born. And of course, named after the Edgar Allan Poe poem. So the Browns were resurrected. The Bengals, well, guess who started the Bengals? It was Paul Brown. The same Paul Brown whose name is on the Cleveland Browns. And then, the Steelers would still be staying put, but the original name was the Pirates, yes, after the baseball team. And now we can talk World War II again, as because of those World War II, they needed men to fight in World War II. Rosters were reduced, and the Steelers, who by the way did not really become the Steelers we know today until the 70s. Before that, they were a joke. They had to merge a couple times with other teams. So one year they merged with the Eagles. They're known as Phil Pitts during that 1 year, nicknamed the Steagles. Steelers, Eagles, good. And then that lasted a year. Then the next year they had to merge with another team. This time it was the Chicago Cardinals. And they were known that year as Card Pit. Or Carpets, because that team finished with no wins. So there's your AFC North. AFC South, well, the Colts would be back in Baltimore. So Baltimore, congratulations, has two teams under your argument. Houston has two teams. The Titans would be back in Houston and would be the Oilers. And then, of course, you have Jacksonville. So two Houston teams, Baltimore and Jacksonville. In the South. And the East would be largely untouched, except they'd still be the Boston Patriots, not taking on the New England team, and the Jets would be the Titans. So yeah. So LA people know what you're talking about before you try to debate someone on the merits of whether a team should have moved back to LA or not. And don't you dare say they're coming home, because they ain't. If they were coming home, they would be in Cleveland. Okay, so this is part 3 of our Fortnight challenge. Context: this is being recorded on January 9th, 2025. If you were paying attention to current events at the time this was recorded, we had a pretty big snow and ice storm last weekend. So bad that I had to come off work early on Saturday night and cancel a couple of things. The roads were pretty slick on the drive home, you may have seen a bit of viral video going around of a girl driving in the Northland, not too far from the office, by the way. Decided, she's getting off, she's on an off ramp, and she started slipping and sliding a little bit. She made the decision of bailing out of the car, and we'll see what happens with the car, which is now driverless and sliding, and probably still in drive. It's insane, but I guess she got ran away with minor bumps and bruises in the car. Turned out mostly undamaged, so that's good and everything. So yeah, I did have a few slips and slides that evening. Took me over an hour to get from the office to my house, and that's close to an hour under the best of circumstances, just because of the route I usually take. So yeah, but I wanted to include this particularly because there is a myth that needs to die. All right, and this comes based on the experiences with this particular snowstorm. That is the idea that Kansas roads are better plowed than Missouri roads. I'm calling bullshit. Exhibit A is my street. And the other side streets throughout Overland Park, apparently. The main streets, yeah, they're doing okay. But yeah, this storm had me stuck at home for 2 whole days. Granted, one of those days was being productive with the podcast. You will probably have already heard all those episodes, but basically I knew that we were likely going to be snowed in, so I opened up my Zoom for anyone who wanted to jump in and contribute. Sadly, no takers, but I was able to fill those 3 slots in, and by the time you're hearing this, you will probably already have listened to those episodes. If you haven't, well, they're available under the snowed in tag, as well as the 2 interviews that we were able to sneak in as well. So yeah, but yeah, it wasn't until Tuesday that our street was finally plowed, and that's it. And the plow did not do a very good job of plowing, because the road is still mostly covered in snow and shows no signs of improvement. Fortunately, I'm recording this on a day that finally hit just above freezing, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Just above freezing, but no appreciable snow melt as of yet, and still plenty of ice underneath all that snow. And we're talking a shitload of snow. I think we got close to 10 inches in my neighborhood. And it's put a halt to my door dashing activities until it's finally safe to get in and out of the street without having to worry about slipping and sliding. So, and on top of this, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, you know that I am the oldest of 4, and I live with 2 of my siblings, the youngest of which has had some, I'm just going to say medical issues. I'm going to protect his privacy the best I can. But medical issues over the past year and a half, particularly. And I've had to take him to doctor's appointments each of the last couple of days, with the third coming up here very soon. And we're going to go another month and a half. He's going to do some daily treatments. I'm not going to be able to take him every day, but most days I will be taking him. But this leads me to the point. Whoever is running the snowplows in Evelyn Park needs to be fired. And a good way to do that is we got to have a new city council. Right? Half the mayor and half the city council is up for re-election this year, including, our favorite person. I don't think I need to go into much more detail about Mr. Healy, but he's got to go. He's got to go, and this is the chance to do so. Because, I invite you to go back and listen to particularly our political episodes. He has no business being in office. He has no business calling himself a Democrat, and he's a gots to go situation. So hopefully this gets people's ears before the election. We'll see. Again, this is a long-term podcast episode project. It might not be out by then, but we'll see. We'll see. But he's got to go. So this is part 4 of our Fortnight challenge. As you probably know, Fortnight comes from Taylor's album, The Tortured Poets Department. And I take a moment to read an article. This is Upworthy.com. I'm convinced my Gen Z kids to watch Dead Poets Society, and their angry reactions surprised me. Gen X and Gen Z apparently view inspiring very differently. Actually, the music video for Fortnite included cast members of the Dead Poets Society. So let's read this article. Credit to the article goes to Annie Renault. As a Gen X parent of Gen Z teens and young adults, full disclosure, I am Gen X myself. I'm used to cringing at things from 80s and 90s movies that haven't aged well. However, a beloved movie from my youth that I didn't expect to be problematic, The Dead Poets Society, sparked some unexpected negative responses in my kids, shining a spotlight on generational differences I didn't even know existed. I probably watched Dead Poets a dozen or more times as a teen and a young adult, always finding it aesthetically beautiful, tragically sad, and profoundly inspiring. That film was one of the reasons I decided to become an English teacher, inspired as I was by Robin Williams' portrayal of the passionately unconventional English teacher, John Keating. And then includes a tweet from Chung Fan. The tweet reads, banger line from Dead Poets Society. Medicine, law, business, engineering. These are all noble pursuits. and necessary to sustain life, but poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. There's truth to that. The way Mr. Keating shared his love of beauty and poetry with a class of high school boys at a stuffy prep school, encouraging them to seize the day, carpe diem, and suck all the marrow out of life, hit me right in my idealistic, youthful heart. And when those boys stood up on their desks for him at the end of the film, defying the headmaster who held their future in his hands, what a moving moment of triumph and support. Now, also included in this movie, we'll read the rest of the article in a sec, but included a little bit from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. The speech at the end by Puck. If we shadows have offended, think with this all as men did, that you have been slumbering here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more reeling but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If we pardon wheelmen, and I'll probably have to read the rest of that later. But that really stuck to me to the point that I did that very scene at Shakespeare Festival in high school. So my Gen Z kids, back to the article, foresaw the ending differently. They loved the feel of the film, which I expected, with its warm, cozy, comforting vibes, at least up until the last 20 minutes or so. They loved Mr. Keating, because how could you not? But when the movie ended, I was taken back here, and that was terrible! And why would you traumatize me like that? Before they admitted, but it was so good. The traumatized part, I get. That movie gets very heavy all of a sudden. Pretty much right after the Shakespeare quotes I just shared with you, where the young actor being berated by his father, played by Red Foreman, was told, yeah, I'm going to pull you out of that school and put you in military school, you dumbass. Except a little more eloquently. And the kid winds up killing himself and gets reincarnated as Dr. Wilson. For all those house fans that might be listening. Alright, so the traumatized portion, I get that film gets very heavy all of a sudden, but in discussing it further, I uncovered three main generational differences that impacted their Dead Poets Society viewing experience and what they took away from it. Number one, Gen Z sees inspiring change through a systemic lens, not an individual one. The first thing my 20-year-old son said when the credits rolled was, "What? That's terrible. Nothing changed. He got fired, and the school's still run by a bunch of stodgy old white men forcing everyone to conform." My immediate response was, yeah, but he changed those boys' individual lives, didn't he? He helped broaden their minds and see the world differently. I realized that Gen X youth valued individuals going against the old, outdated system and doing their own thing, whereas Gen Z values this dismantling of the system itself. For Gen X, Mr. Keating and the boys taking a stand was inspiring, but the fact that it didn't actually change anything outside of their own individual experiences stuck like a needle to my Gen Z kids' crawl. Okay, I would agree with that, actually. So, all right. Number 2. Gen Z isn't accustomed to being blindsided by tragic storylines with no warning. To be fair, I did tell them there was a sad part before the movie started, but I'd forgotten how deeply devastating the last part of the movie was. So my daughter's, "Why would you do that to me?" was somehow warranted. I thought maybe a dog would die or something, she said. No one really expected one of the main characters to die by suicide and the beloved teacher protagonist to be blamed for it. But I'd somehow minimized the tragedy of it all in my memory. And they included tweets. Dead Poet Society is the perfect autumn comfort film if you know when to turn it off. But also, to be fair, Gen X never got any such warnings. We were just blindsided by tragic plot twists all the time. As kids, we cheered on Atreyu trying to save his horse from the swamp in the never-ending story, only to watch him drown. Adults showed us Watership Down, thinking it would be a cute little animated film about bunnies. We were slapped in the face by the tragic child's death in My Girl, which was marketed as a sweet coming-of-age movie. Gen Z was raised in the era of trigger warnings and trauma-informed practices, while Gen X kids watched a teacher die on live TV in our classrooms. Right, I'll link to that. Oh, she is referring to the Challenger explosion. So let me finish the paragraph and I'll talk about that a little bit. Gen X, watched the teacher die on live TV in our classrooms with zero follow-up on how we were processing it. Those differences became apparent really quick at the end of this film. So the Challenger incident. So Challenger was a space shuttle. In the mid-'80s, they were getting ready to do a space launch with 7 people on board, one of whom was a school teacher, Krista McAuliffe. And for everyone in Lenexa, that's how the school got its name, because it opened shortly after that incident. So shortly after takeoff, it blows up. Finds out there was something wrong with the launching mechanism, and all 7 people on that shuttle died. So that's the backstory behind that. Moving on to the article. Number 3, Gen Z fixates on boundary crossing behavior that Gen X overlooked. The other reaction I wasn't expecting was the utter disdain my girls showed for Knox Overstreet, played by Josh Charles, who was A, one of the actors in Taylor's music video, and B, would let her play basically Keith Olbermann on Sports Night. So Knox Overstreet, the sweet but over-eager character who fell for the football player's cheerleader girlfriend. I've been there. Recall the whole getting death threats thing. So parallel experience for me. His boundary crossing attempts to woo her were always cringe, but for Gen X, cringe behavior in the name of love was generally either overlooked, tolerated, or sometimes even celebrated. Standing on the girl's lawn in the middle of the night, holding a full volume stereo over your head was peak romance for Gen X, remember? And I believe that was Peter Gabriel. And no, Stan Marsh, not Shock the Monkey. For Gen Z, the only thing worse than cringe is predatory behavior, which Knox's obsessiveness and pushiness could be seen as. My young Gen X lens saw him and said, "That's a bit much, dude. Take it down a notch or 3. My Gen Z daughter's lens said, "That dude's a creepo. He needs to run far the other way." On one hand, I was proud of them for recognizing red flag behaviors. On the other hand, I saw how little room there is for nuance in their perceptions, which is interesting. My Gen Z kids' reactions aren't wrong. They're just different from mine. And mine were at that age. We're usually on the same page, so seeing them have a drastically different reaction to something I loved at their age was really something. Now I'm wondering what other favorite movies from my youth I should show them to see if they view those differently as well. Hopefully without them being traumatized by the experience. Okay, fair enough. That is a very heavy movie. If you've not seen it, I recommend that you do. Okay, so this is part 5 now of our Fortnight challenge. Let's talk a little UFL, United Football League, St. Louis Bellhawks, Cacao, going into the second year post-merger, and things are really looking up. The league just announced they rented some office space for the long term, and they've also announced that they will be expanding a couple times, so up to 10 for year 3 in 2026 and up to 12 for year 4 in 2027. And I would think the Battlehawks are a favorite to do well this year, especially since we have 6 home games. We had to play San Antonio twice at home, and let's face it, no one is beating the Battlehawks in attendance. Fuck you, Stan Kroenke. But my eyes came upon this article at UFLboard.com. The Fan Voice Survey Results and Analysis. So they took a poll. They asked a few questions on fan attitudes towards certain topics related to the league. And here are those results. So, number 1, how would you grade ownership on their overall performance for the first year of the UFL? I think I said it was an A, but 57.4% said B, so it's still passing. 21.8% said A, 19.3% said C, and not very many people, 1.5%, gave it a D or an F. So that tells me they're doing a good job. So that's good. Question 2, how would you assess the on-field play during the past season of the UFL? 53.2% said better than I expected. Yeah, I would agree with that because it, granted, not quite NFL quality, but still really damn good football, and really exciting football too. So these are guys that know they are playing for possibly a shot at the NFL. Whether they'll actually get there or not, who knows? But there have been some couple of good stories related to UFL players making the jump to the NFL, most notably Jake Bates, the Michigan kicker, who is now kicking for the Detroit Lions, so he didn't have to leave that building. So I think it's pretty cool. 46.3%, about what I expected, and only 0.5% worse than I expected. So yeah, they are doing a good job on the field too. Question 3, taking into account all aspects of production, which network do you believe has a better presentation of UFL games? I thought both Fox and ABC, ESPN did all right, so I probably would be in the no significant difference, which came in second at 36.9%. But Fox is the clear winner at 46.3%, and ABC, ESPN only at 16.7%. So this one I do want to read the analysis. So in order to be seen as a major league product, the networks need to treat the UFL like a major league product. And Fox and ABC, ESPN both did that for the most part. Of course, Fox owns half the league, and ABC is a stakeholder in the other half. So both these leagues have a stake in this league. Yeah, they did that for the most part. While the broadcasts were similar in a lot of ways, each provides some distinction as well, to the point that voters very clearly felt Fox offered the better presentation. ABC and ESPN tend to lean more heavily on the betting aspects. Okay, I did notice that, yeah. As though Pat McAfee were doing the thing. I don't think he did, but it kind of fell out that because he does a lot of betting stuff on his show. May have played a role here for fans tired of hearing about the over-under after each touchdown or field goal. A year on, expectations will be that both networks continue honing their in-game production, since TV presentation is such a critical piece of the UFL's success going forward. And yeah, year one, yeah, they did excellent as far as TV. So it'll be exciting to see what happens here in year two, especially with Friday nights. So they're going to play a game every Friday night this season. So I was just assess the live experience of a UFL game while I didn't go, on virtue of the closest UFL city to me is 4 hours away in St. Louis. So that puts me in the 33.2% that did not attend, and 37.6% said better than I expected. 27.7% about what I expected, and 3.5% worse than I expected. So, I know, where'd you go for the game? So if you went to St. Louis or DC, I'm sorry, you probably had a good time, because those two teams in particular have done a really good job at cultivating their fan culture, whether it's telling the NFL to fuck off in St. Louis or building the beer snake in D.C. I give some props to San Antonio and Birmingham for their attempts at fan culture as well. With Birmingham, it involves pretending you're Jason Kelsey during the Buffalo Chiefs game and taking your shirt off. For the Brahmas, it's embracing the Hispanic culture of the city. And granted, each team has done a good job, but the other four need to get at least 10K into 10,000 butts per game into their stadiums. I think that's a question later on in the poll too. So, number 5, how would you assess the UFL's merchandise selection on UFL Shop, taking into account variety, price, quality, etc.? By the way, I would love to get one of their windbreakers with all the team logos on them, but that is a very expensive jacket, so I may have to hold off and consider my other options. About what I expected, got 46%. Better than I expected, got 13%. Worse than I expected, 28%. No opinion, 13%. So they need to do a better job. That is one area they need to do a better job with, I agree. Number 6. What is the most important thing the UFL needs to improve for Season 2? So this coming season. 48% more advertising of the league in the team's cities. They use the M word here, so knock that shit off. So 48% in more advertising in the cities. Then we have at the others, 13.5% more advertising of the league nationally. Also 13.5% more competitive pay to attract quality players. Okay. 10.5% higher quality of on-field play. So can't really there. 8.5% better communication of league information like depth charts, injury reports, etc. with fans. I don't know if the average fan is interested in all that. Maybe if you're doing fantasy, and I would not recommend doing fantasy for any league other than the NFL. 5% said other. 1% stronger social media presence. But that's at least with the league does a pretty decent job with social media, and the Battlehawks do a pretty decent job with social media. The other teams, I can't tell you. And have games on more consistent time slots and networks, 0%. So yeah, scheduling, I think they have scheduling down to a science. But yeah, they need to do a better job of marketing these teams in their home cities. I don't think it'd be an issue in St. Louis, but still, gotta get butts in those seats. And this one I will read the analysis. So despite offering 8 options for this question, fans didn't take the bait. They overwhelmingly felt more advertising is needed in team home cities for Season 2. It was a similar story last year in the XFL, with 39.7% thought the same. For spring leagues looking to operate on a budget and the balancing act of doing so, while also finding enough money to finance such advertising in team cities has proven challenging. is very close to the end of the off season. I'm recording this in mid-January. There does seem to have been some traction in improving this aspect of the UFL. Will it be enough to make a difference? Time will tell. Curiously, also 11% voted higher quality of on-field play as the most important, even as only 0.5% cited it as a weakness in the previous question. A couple of open responses suggested expansion off the table for season 2 at this point, so it will be the 8, Arlington, Birmingham, DC, Houston, Memphis, Michigan, St. Louis, and San Antonio. And a few mentioned that the league should embrace fantasy football more as a way of potentially reaching new fans. Okay, so that goes hand in hand with those updated depth charts and stats and everything. Someone who termed themselves as a previous employee of the league opined that full-time social media departments needed to be hired, rather than that aspect being under the umbrella of seasonal employers. Of note, this person also gave ownership a D/F grade, relevant since this is a former employee. Okay. Number 7, what is your biggest concern about the UFL moving forward? Attendance, 33%. So attendance was not an issue in St. Louis, and it really wasn't an issue in DC either. Those are, St. Louis, 33K a game. DC, about 18, but that was close to selling out because their stadium only holds 20K. But everyone else, Birmingham and San Antonio averaged over 10K. Arlington, which did not play well at all, was at 10K. Michigan, Houston, and Memphis was dead last. Those three were under 10K, and Michigan was a playoff team. All right. So I would say at least get to 10K in attendance, league-wide. I think Memphis's average was a little over 6K. Yeah, you gotta do better than that. And I hope they do better than that. Very close behind, and number 2 was long-term financial backing from ownership. Fox, ESPN, Redbird, Danny Garcia, Dwayne Rock Johnson. Viability of certain teams in current cities, 13.3%. So it's not that big. That's not that big an issue. Lack of teams in key regions, 11.8%. I'm guessing these are West Coast people or Northeastern people, because all the teams were in the Midwest or the South. TV ratings, 5.9%. TV ratings were awesome. And other, 3.9%. I'll read the analysis here, too. So, spring football fans are inherently pessimistic, and rightfully so, given the history in this space. So what concerns fans the most? It's almost an equal split between attendance and long-term financial backing from ownership. Attendance won't make or break the UFL. It'll certainly be a contributing factor, but long-term financial backing from ownership is something that could make or break the league. And there are more factors that will go into that decision than just attendance. TV ratings was tops in this question last year for the XFL. The combination of Fox and ESPN having an ownership stake in the league, as well as the positive rating numbers for the UFL initial season seem to have lessened that worry heading into year 2. In the comments section of this question, multiple people mentioned the schedule, from San Antonio's one less home game to the concerns surrounding Friday night games. Specifically, one person noting that their work schedule prevents them from attending these games after they had already purchased season tickets. You know how you fix that? Give the tickets to the games you can't go to a friend. All right. Other concerns have to do with engaging the local fan bases, as well as casual football fans. And, Number 8, what was your favorite gameplay rule unique to the UFL? So for this one, I'm going to have to read them all in order. Otherwise, the final wouldn't make sense. So, kickoff from the 20, 8.9%. Tiered extra points, 14.8%. The 4th and 15 option in the fourth quarter, when trailing or tied, 17.2%. Coaches can challenge any play, 22.2%. Clock rules meant to speed up the game, 3%. Liked them all, 33%. That's your winner. And other got 1%. And the flip side of that, what was your least favorite gameplay rule unique to the UFL? Kickoff from the 20 got 31%. Tiered extra points, 18.7. The 4th and 15 got 9.8. Coaches being able to challenge any play, 7.8. Clock rules meant to speed up the game, 19.2. And other got 13.5. Thinking about the clock rules real quick. The average UFL game, at least the ones I watched, take less than or about 3 hours to play. NFL games tend to last slightly longer than 3 hours. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, but yeah, the kickoff. That brings us to question 10. Should the UFL adopt the XFL style kickoff for 2025? And 58.1% said yes, 32.5% said no, and 9.4% said no opinion. The XFL kickoff rule, this was adopted by the NFL in 24. You just have the teams lined up like 10 yards from each other. The kicker is alone at the 20 or the 30, wherever they choose to kick it, and does the kick and goes from there. The idea is to lessen the impact from the collisions that do happen on special teams and can cause concussions. So I would like to see the XFL kickoff back in the UFL, but we shall see. So number 11, should the UFL have expanded in summer teams in year 2? About plurality of this, so 45.3% said no, 44.3% said yes, 10.3% no opinion. I'm camp yes, simply because when news of the merger got out, they my understanding is Congress wanted them to expand as quickly as possible to get back up to 12 or 16 from their initial 8. Because remember, this is 2 leagues merging into one. and going from 16 total teams down to just 8. So that's a lot of jobs that were lost in this merger. So it does sound like they will be expanding for 26 and 27. So that's good, and I'm fine with these teams sticking around. I would not be fine with any of them moving. All right, that is a uniquely American thing that, frankly, I'm sick of seeing teams move. Because who's that help? Who does that help? And number 12, if the UFL expands in the future, what should be its first new city? Again, knock that shit off with the M word. And they have a list of 9 cities. And the other, please specify. So the others, please specify, won out with 26.9% of the vote. Next on the list is Seattle at 18.4%. Seattle was an XFL city pre-merger. They had the Sea Dragons, or because of their ridiculous-looking logo, let's call them what they are, Trogdor. Trogdor was a man. He was the dragon man. Maybe he was just a dragon. And how you draw him? You draw him with an S and more different S. And he used lots of consummate V's. Right, that's what their logo looks like. So, number 2 is San Diego, 16.4%. A couple of notes there. One, I'm pretty sure the league said they didn't want to do business in California or New York because of taxes. But B, much like St. Louis, San Diego lost an NFL team. But the circumstances were completely different. Spanos had well over a decade to address stadium concerns in San Diego. Jack Murphy was aging. Right? Let's be honest, it was built in the 60s. It was aging, needed to be replaced. And something did ultimately get on the ballot in 2016, and it needed 2/3 of the votes to pass. It didn't even get half of the votes passed. So yeah, there you go. That's why the Chargers are rightfully back home, unlike that other team. And I get San Diegan's anger towards Spanos, but he did a lot more to try to say than Stan did. That's just a fact. Now, as for they can't play Jack Murphy anymore because that was torn down. But built in its place was the Snapdragon Stadium, which is a lot smaller. Could probably better host a UFL crowd. And is currently used by, among others, San Diego State University, one of the newest members of the revamped Pac-12. So that'd be intriguing with San Diego. Number 3 is Canton, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the birthplace of the National Football League, and important for our discussion here, they were a USFL hub city pre-merger. They hosted the Pittsburgh team and the New Jersey team. So they didn't actually host a team with Canton on their on the front of their jerseys, and I could see that definitely being a possibility with this. I believe the league bought the rights to the Canton Bulldogs, a very old NFL team. So, all right, it's on the other cities that didn't get 10%. We have Phoenix, 2.5%, Chicago, 4%, LA, 2%, New York, 4.5%, Orlando, 5.5%, and Oakland, 6.5%. And I'll need to read the analysis here. I tried to provide a comprehensive list of potential expansion locations, but over a quarter of respondents cited a location not among the 9 listed here. Clearly, UFL fans believe a presence out west is important for the league, with the top 2 results of those offered being Seattle and San Diego. Like I said, Seattle has 2 years of XFL history, and 2020 and 2023 doing very well attendance-wise. In 20, before trailing off a bit in 23, San Diego drew some solid numbers with the Alliance for American Football. In 19, we know that success years ago doesn't necessarily translate to success today, plus California is an expensive place to field a team. Canton also got a respectable amount of votes. That city was a hub for the USSF in 2023, and also the place the championship game was played that season. Well, it's part of the Cleveland area. That's why it's not a large media market. Yeah, it's combined with Cleveland and Akron. We're the 19th largest in the country. So among other cities that got a plurality of votes, New Orleans was the clubhouse leader with 12 write-ins. Columbus, Ohio had 11, while Philly, Oklahoma, and Hartford each received 3. So in total, about 20 locations were suggested outside of those listed. A few people mentioned no specific city, but rather expanding to locations in which the NFL did not already have a presence. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. So yeah, I think I'm not sure about San Diego, but certainly Seattle and Canton I would keep an eye on, as well as New Orleans. So I am excited for season 2 of the UFL and the cause of law. So this is part 6 of our Fortnight challenge. This one, from the podcast and our co-host Heather, around Christmas time, sent out a post asking people for their addresses. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what this is about, but all right. Yesterday in the mail, I received a card from Heather, and I'm going to read it to you now. So, Happy New Year, Michael. Sending so many well wishes your way for an amazing 2025. Thank you for letting me participate in your podcast, and I hope we get the chance to record more. I agree. As friends, I am very thankful to know you and work with you. Cheers to the new year, and may you find so much success in all your endeavors. Signed, Heather Marie. Well, thank you, Heather. Yeah, it's just been it is difficult to get people even co-hosts who you expect to be working with more than once to come on the podcast, especially if they're busy people. And I knew from our first meeting that Heather was a very busy individual, between selling real estate and being a substitute teacher and being a parent. I totally get it, and just try to get our schedules working in a way that's going to benefit both of us, and all that, and we'll see. Try my best to get Heather back on, because there's a lot more that we can talk about. Alright, so we're now at part 7 of our Fortnight series. I thought it'd be a good idea to look at the 3,000 hit club. Any baseball fans out there? Simple as that. Just get 3,000 hits. Only 33 guys have ever done it in the over 100 years of Major League Baseball. And the most recent guy to get in from the 3,000 hit club was Ichiro Suzuki. He of August in Kansas City infamy. I'll explain. You can look this up on YouTube if you want, but he did interview with Bob Costas early in his major league career. So he first came here from Japan. He was asked what his favorite American expression was. He said, August in Kansas City is hotter than 2 rats in a fucking wool sock. It's still funny to this day. With only a few exceptions, everyone in the 3,000 hit club is in Cooperstown, which is pretty cool. So, why are these guys not in? And who would be next, active player-wise, to join them? Okay, let's take a look at both questions right now. So, the all-time hits leader, 4,256, is Pete Rose, who recently passed away. There is a very simple reason why Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, and that is because he broke the cardinal sin of baseball and gambled on the game. And he never truly apologized for it. So, he's out. Next up, Albert Pujols. Went to high school at Fort Osage, which is just north of Blue Springs in eastern Jackson County. He played his college ball at Maple Woods, which is in our Northland. So guy with local ties. He retired in 2022, so he is not eligible for another couple of years. But I think he will get in eventually. The most recent guy to join the 3,000 hit club was Miguel Cabrera. And he retired just about a little over a year ago, so he's not eligible just yet, but I think he'll get in. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, was caught using steroids. He's still going to appear on the writers' ballots, but we'll see if he gets in. And the last one, Rafael Palmeiro, also a steroids guy. In his case, he lied to Congress about not taking steroids and failed to get even 5% of the votes, so he is not eligible. So those are the only guys in the 3000 hit club that are not in Cooperstown. Now, active guys who could get there, the closest is Freddie Freeman, 2,267 hits. So he's got a ways away. Ichiro, by the way, has the single season record. I believe it's 262. So it will still take him a couple of years to get to 3,000, even if he were to keep Ichiro's pace. I think he can do it. Then next closest is Jose Altuve, 2,232. And I think these are the two best cases for getting 3,000 hit guy among active players, because they're still fairly young, as opposed to the next couple of guys on this list. Andrew McCutcheon, 2152. He's up there age-wise, as is Paul Goldschmidt, 2056. So I would bet on Freeman and Altuve joining the 3,000 hit club. It will not be this coming season or the season after that, but I'd say check back in about 4 or 5 years, and we're probably talking about these guys getting to 5,000. Part 8 of our Fortnight challenge, and let's talk about a subject we have talked about on the podcast, but not a whole lot, and that's the subject of naturism, nudism. And was reminded there's a quiz here, the nudist quiz. How much do you know about nudism? So while nudism may seem like a new and modern concept, the practice of nudism has been around for centuries and has a rich history and cultural significance. Whether you're a seasoned nudist, just exploring this lifestyle choice, or simply curious about nudism, take this quiz to see how much you know about this fascinating and liberating movement. Okay, so here we go. What's the difference between nudism and naturism? A, there is no difference. The two terms are used interchangeably. B, nudism is a much more modern term for naturism. Or C, naturism is a more traditional term for nudism. The correct answer is A, they are interchangeable. Number 2, how long has the practice of nudism been around? A, a few decades. B, a few centuries. C, a few millennium. We will go with C, because we're all born naked. But the idea of organized nudism as exists today, that's been around for a couple centuries, starting in the 1890s Germany. But I'll stick with C as my answer. Number 3, what is the main goal of nudism? A, to promote body positivity and self-expression. B, to promote sexual behavior. C, to challenge societal norms and values. A is the best possible answer. B, good luck doing that at any established club unless they explicitly say sexual behavior is okay. That's a good way to get yourself kicked out. So don't do that. Number 4, was the role of clothing in nudism? A, clothing is optional and individuals can choose to wear or not wear clothes. B, clothing is required and individuals must wear clothes at all times. C, clothing is discouraged and individuals are encouraged to wear as little clothing as possible. The answer is A, clothing is optional. Number 5, how do nudist communities maintain a safe and respectful environment? A, by following strict codes of conduct and etiquette. B, by promoting sexual behavior. C, by ignoring personal boundaries and privacy. The correct answer is A. Again, B is a good way to get yourself kicked out of most clubs. Number 6, what is the impact of nudism on relationships and social interactions? A, it promotes greater understanding and respect for cultural differences. B, it promotes greater isolation and discrimination. C, it promotes greater sexual behavior. Correct answer is A. Number 7, what's the impact of nudism on mental and physical health? A, it promotes improved mental and physical health. B, it promotes decreased mental and physical health. C, it has no impact on mental and physical health. The correct answer is A. Number 8, what is the impact of nudism on the environment? A, it promotes environmental awareness and conservation. B, it promotes environmental degradation. C, it has no impact on the environment. The correct answer is A. It promotes environmental awareness and conservation. So, number 9, what is the typical demographic of nudists? A, young adults. B, elderly people. C, people of all ages and backgrounds. Ideally, the answer should be C, but I will tell you, you see a lot of B at a lot of these clubs, but you do still see young people there. So the correct answer is closest to C. Number 10, what's the most common reason for individuals to embrace nudism? A, to improve mental and physical health. B, to challenge societal norms and values. C, to engage in sexual behavior. The answer is A. C will get you kicked out. Number 11, what is the impact of nudism on body image and self-esteem? A, it promotes body positivity and acceptance. B, it promotes body shaming and low self-esteem. Or C, it has no impact on body image and self-esteem. Ideally, the answer is A, but for me, it's more of a C. So, number 12, what is the proper etiquette for visiting a nudist beach? A, there is no etiquette, anything goes. B, follow strict rules of conduct and etiquettes to respect personal space and boundaries. C, ignore personal space and privacy. No, the correct answer is B, follow the rules and respect people's space. Number 13, what are the benefits of nudism for the environment? I believe we just answered this question, but A, promotes environmental awareness and conservation. B, it promotes environmental degradation. C, it has no impact on the environment. The correct answer is A. Number 14, what do nudists do for fun? A, play beach volleyball. B, play board games in their birthday suits. Or C, wear clothing and engage in traditional activities. A and B are both good responses, actually. So, 15, Can nudists wear accessories while they are naked? A, no, they must be completely naked. B, yes, they can wear jewelry and sunglasses. C, only on special occasions. It's closer to B or C. Yeah, B or C are the best answers there. 16 was the best way to avoid sunburn while at a nudist beach. Oh boy. A, wear sunscreen. B, wear a hat and sunglasses. C, wear a full body swimsuit. I think they're going with A, which I have been guilty of quite a few times. That is not fun to have an all body sunburn. But B is accessible to hat and sunglasses. 17. What is the appropriate response when encountering a nudist for the first time? A, run away as fast as possible. B, gawk and stare. C, respect their choice and maintain a safe and respectful distance. Correct answer is C. 18. What is the most common food served at a nudist potluck? A, grilled vegetables. B, baked beans and hot dogs. Or C, clothing optional casseroles. You're more likely to see A or B because I've never seen a casserole at an event. So that's my answer. 19. No. 19. What is the most popular activity at a nudist campground? A, hiking. B, naked yoga. C, traditional camping activities like roasting marshmallows and telling ghost stories. How about D, all the above? Those are all popular activities, and one that is not on here that would be swimming. And 20, what is the most challenging aspect of nudism for first-timers? A, overcoming their fear of being seen naked. B, finding the perfect picnic blankets. C, avoiding sunburn in sensitive areas. I think it has to be A. Overcoming the fear of being seen naked. And here are the answers. They provide answers for this too. So the answers are, for number 1, A, there's no difference. The two terms are used interchangeably. B, a few centuries. So they're talking about organized nudism there. A, to promote body positivity and self-expression. A, clothing is optional and individuals can choose to wear or not wear clothing. A, follow strict codes of conduct and etiquette. A, promotes greater understanding and respect for cultural differences. A, promotes improved mental and physical health. A, promotes environmental awareness and conservation. C, people of all ages and backgrounds. A, to improve mental and physical health. A, promote body acceptance and body positivity. B, follow strict codes of conduct and etiquette in respect to personal space and boundaries. A, promotes environmental awareness and conservation. A, play beach volleyball. B, yes, they can wear jewelry and sunglasses. A, wear sunscreen. C, respect their choice and maintain a safe and respectful distance. A, grilled vegetables. So I'm partially right there. B, naked yoga. And A, overcoming their fear of being seen naked. So cool. We need to do at least one or two more episodes on this subject. It's an interesting subject and one that I feel is very underreported, underexplored. Alright, so we're ready for part 9 of our challenge. And this one, a little bit of backstory. So of course we run the free play and tournaments on Saturdays at our new office. So that got me thinking. A couple weeks ago we had a reporter come in to write about chess in Kansas City, and we talked for a little bit. And it was all good. Gave him a lot of useful information for his reporting, and next thing you know, we get the article. So the article was actually sent to be by Regina Newham, who is a retired plastic surgeon here in Kansas City, and I happen to know her through the podcasting community. Do check out her podcasts on plastic surgery. So here's the article. I unfortunately have to read it from the email because I cannot find this actually on a website. But check out Kansas City's chess scene through KCUR, our local NPR station. So the game of chess started over 500 years ago in India and was based on a game called Chaturanga, played on an 8x8 gridded board. There are still elements that today's chess players would recognize, such as the king, infantry, pawns, and cavalry, knights, although it also had elephants. The rules and history of Chaturanga are debated, but the game essentially turned into the chess people are familiar with now. It really took off as it became a stand-in for the Cold War. American Bobby Fischer faced off against Russian Boris Spassky in 1972. In what was known as the match of the century, Fischer won. Another explosion of chess interest took place during COVID, as people strove to find a way to pass the time with activities like 1,000-piece puzzles and chess. Current chess superstars became household names such as Norwegian Magnus Carlsen, who holds the world record for the highest chess rating at 2882. Missouri and Kansas City have their own claims to fame when it comes to chess as well. The Chess Hall of Fame is in St. Louis, and in front is the world's largest chess piece, a king that measures over 20 feet tall. St. Louis also serves as the headquarters for the United States Chess Federation. I should also point out that that's also where you'll find the St. Louis Chess Club, and you'll see a lot of grandmasters there. And one of the few times I will shout out Rex Sinkfield for getting that set up. I strongly disagree with his political spending, but he is a big time name in chess, so I will give him props for that. Kansas City native, well, she's not native, but Jessica Losser, who is a friend of mine. She's been mentioned on the podcast before because I've had to give her rides on the accounts that she is blind. So, and she's listened enough to the podcast as it is. I'd be open to having Jessica on, but don't want to force it on her. So. But she is a 6-time reigning U.S. blind champion, having competed in tournaments all over the world. But you don't need to be a champion or even know anything about the game in the first place to get involved in KC's chess scene. We'll help you find local clubs, tournaments, and casual matches around the metro. And then it shows a photo of a friend of the podcast, Nick Manley, playing chess with a young man whose parents were from Russia. And his father was talking about how Garry Kasparov helped him get into the United States. So that's pretty cool. And I think I've said this before on the podcast, but I'll say it again. I've actually been in the same room as Garry Kasparov. In fact, he stood next to me summer of 23 at the German library. And I got a photo of him signing an autograph for one of our former students. So that's pretty cool. So chess clubs in Kansas City. So the Kansas City Chess Club, my employer. Founded in 1895, making it one of the more established chess clubs in the country. Originally, it was known as the Kansas City Chess, Checkers, and Whist Club, according to Ken Fee, who has run the organization since 1997. You'll also be able to find a game when the KC Chess Club meets up. Their schedule is chock full of weekly in-person and online events. For starters, the KC Chess Club offers a merit badge class for Boy Scouts, summer youth camps, and lessons for players of all ages. They have a few levels of membership starting at $70 for 6 months for an individual, $100 for a family, or a yearly membership at $120, $175 for a family. And we'll go ahead and interject. Family up to 4 people. Get advice on your game from some of their instructors like Mike Cherniavsky. So this is where I get quoted, folks. So, in your first 10 moves, get out your 2 knights, 2 bishops, and castle. Cherniavsky advises new players. Castling is a chess move where the king and the rook switch spots, not exactly, but still, as long as they are unobstructed. For mid-level players, Cherniavsky advises not to bring your queen out too early. You'll get punished on the board for it. Also, Wheaton's Law comes to mind. I'm not sure I mentioned that, but Wheaton's Law, don't be a dick. Taking the queen out early is the ultimate dick move in chess. A membership is not required to enjoy a game at some of these events. Their casual events just take a $10 fee for visitors. And there is no need to bring your own board, clocks, or pieces because we provide them. Start with their casual play events every Saturday from 2 to 5 at their main location. And it gives our current address every Tuesday at the Gladstone Community Center from 6 to 9 p.m. and the first Monday of the month in Overland Park at Kansas Christian College. Their Overland Park chapter offers all the benefits that you can find at their main branch. Casual play games are unranked. And it's more about learning and the camaraderie of the community. This is a great place for a beginner in the chess scene to learn the ropes and maybe some of the less well-known chess moves, such as an en passant. All players of all ages are welcome to attend and play. All right. Not bad. But see, he talked about the entire chess scene. There's more than just us. He talked about the Westport Chess Club in the next part of this article. So the Westport Chess Club started in 1986 and meets at the Westport Flea Market Bar and Grill every Tuesday from 6:30 to 10. If you want to eat like a king while protecting your king, You can also grab their famous Super Flea 5 patty burger, and of course Westport Flea Market's a longtime home of the IFC, the Independent Filmmakers Coalition, and has been used as a KC Fringe festival venue. So yeah, I know the Westport Flea Market quite well, but I've never gone to Westport Chess Club. Probably because I'm running the event in Gladstone every week. But the Westport Chess Club also meets virtually on chess.com, perhaps the largest online chess platform in the world, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to get a few games in. We're talking about the most recent drama, such as Magnus wearing jeans in a recent tournament. Yeah. Magnus was kicked out of a FIDE tournament for wearing jeans, which is ridiculous. And full disclosure, the KC Chess Club also runs a group on chess.com. But you do have to be a member to be in that group. So there is no fee to become a member of the Westport Club. The first visit is free, but they do ask for $2 for subsequent visits. Kids and students pay $1, which is one of the cheapest nights out in town you'll find. Kids aged 6 and up are always welcome to attend with their parents. No need for a babysitter. Teach your kid how to play chess and bond over a smashing fool's mate, the fastest checkmate in chess. Don't worry, everyone has fallen for it at least once. Okay, so fool's mate. Actually, there's a faster checkmate called Scholar's. No, you're right, fool's mate. So fool's mates. I'm going to go over the notation for fool's mate, and I do not expect you to follow this, but if you do, be warned, it'll be over in 2 turns. So white always starts. White goes F4. This is the bird's opening. Everybody knows that the bird is a word. Black responds E5 or E6. I'll go E6 with this one. Then white on his next turn will go G4. Then black goes queen, H4, and that is checkmate. These are ABCs of check. So can I avoid the check? That's the A. No, I can't avoid the check because I can't move my king to F2 because that spot's in check and you have to get your king out of check. I can't move to E2 because I got a pawn there. And I can't move to F1 because I got a bishop there. Can I block? No, I just moved the last piece I could have blocked when I went G4. Can I capture? No, because I've got nothing that can capture that queen at this time. So that is checkmate. That is the fool's mate. The Westport Chess Club is also a great place to learn the game. As the old chess saying goes, I'm good enough at chess to realize how bad I am. The club holds a teaching session on the 3rd Tuesday of each month where their instructor picks a chess theme and gives a demonstration. In other words, what we pretty much do on a weekly basis at our chess school or at the after-school clubs that we run. For example, you might learn about endgames and Zugzwang, a tournament chess that means you must move and cannot take a pass. That is correct. There's no passing in chess. All right. Everyone must make a move. and I just lost my space there. But yeah, that's interesting stuff on the Westport Club. I don't know if it's my thing, but oh well. Now we get to fun stuff. Tournaments. Tournaments are where you can start to receive an official chess ranking. And if you must know, I'm provisionally at 1054 with the United States Chess Federation. That ceases to be professional if I play 25 games. I've only got 6 on record. So yeah, I'm more interested in running tournaments than I am playing in them. So the number will also allow you to get more competitive matchups. In America, rankings are governed by the U.S. Chess Federation, based in St. Louis. To get your own starting number, you must play 25 games in U.S. chess-rated tournaments and submit the results, which is part of my job, is submitting the results. Now, all tournaments are U.S. chess-rated, but we don't need to deal with international level competitions just yet. And that's where your grandmasters come in, and it's FIDE is the international body of chess. And yes, we have run FIDE tournaments at our club. We have to have a special FIDE tournament director who is a nice guy. I will go and say that. So, there are a few general tournament rules. It's good to know. If you touch a piece, you must move that piece if there's a legal move possible, also known as touch move. You'll also be playing with a chess clock that counts down the time you're given. Every time you make a move, you stop your clock with the same hand that you move the pieces with. Yep. So if I move right-handed, I also hit the clock right-handed. I don't care if I have to reach across the body or not. I still have to use that right hand. Finally, there are multiple types of tournaments, and many are determined by the clock. Classical chess games are 60 minutes or longer per side, but playing with bullets time controls means that each player has less than 3 minutes, or sometimes only 1, to get through their entire game. Blitz games are 5-minute time controls, and rapid is normally 10 minutes. The Kansas State Chess Club holds a USCF rated tournament the first Saturday of each month at 5 p.m. It's open to all U.S. chess players with a $30 entry fee. Guess who runs those tournaments, folks? Yeah, you're talking to them. You can find their yearly calendar, our yearly calendar, here at KansasCityChessClub.com. On May 10, 2025, they're holding both the Blitz and Rapid Championship tournaments. Youth tournaments are also available for kids grades K through 12, where players will be grouped based on grade and rating. The next youth tournament is the Groundhog Youth Tournament on Saturday, February 15, from 9:30 to noon. Guess who's running that? Yeah, here's truly, and that will be out in Grain Valley, which is right next to Blue Springs on the way, going away from the big city. So right next door, everything. They have a small community center, which I really like, and they're a very nice people, and I look forward to returning. The Westport Chess Club also holds tournaments the second Tuesday of the month. They host an unrated tournament at 7 p.m. On the last Tuesday of the month, they host a U.S. chess rated tournament also at 7 p.m. where each player will have 29 minutes on the clock. Check out their schedule to find others that might be added throughout the year. Chess schools and coaching. When you are ready to get better at learning about forks, skewers, and pins, then it's time to bring in the experts. These terms aren't about your next barbecue, but rather tactical descriptions used in chess. Before I continue, a fork is when the piece is attacking two or more pieces at the same time. And by attacking, I mean they can, on the next turn, they can capture a piece. All right. A skewer is basically the reverse of a pin. So let's say you've got a rook putting my king into check, and I choose skewers can be a little skewers can be a little confusing. I don't think about it, but pins, that's a little more what I was trying to describe. Moving a piece between your king and a piece putting your king in check. So the block part of your ABC is a check. That's more related to pins. Well, skewer would actually be the opposite of it, now that I think about it. So let's say you put my king in check, and behind the king is a available piece, like a queen or a rook, forcing me to move my king out of check, and he could just take the piece that my king is blocking. So there you are, the dummies version of skewers in chess. So both the Regal Chess School and the Knights School can help. The Regal Chess School is us. The Regal Chess School, which is run through the Kansas City Chess Club, offers classes for both in-person and online learning. They teach both adults and children. Trial classes start at $20. Their list of instructors is impressive and includes players such as Aileen Mehta, who is a World FIDE master, 6-time national champion, and an Olympian. I'm pretty sure you meant to say Alejandro Garcia and a Miami, but it is what it is. If you want individual coaching, they have options for that as well. The Night School, our big competitor, is a youth program for kids aged 3 to 16. There are a plethora of options to choose from. They include in-person and virtual sessions, plus they have a parent tutorial so you can learn and teach your kids, making chess a family activity. And nice rooftop photo of the downtown library where they have a giant human-sized chessboard. I've never seen it, but I know it's there. Where to find the game? Sometimes you want to leave all the organizations behind and just find the board, a stranger, and a good game. Although KC doesn't have anything like the famous Washington Square in New York City, there are places where you can have a little fun. If you're ready to head out to the real world, try Afterward Tavern and Shelves, which has a chessboard ready for you and a friend or a new friend. Grab a cocktail from their bar, a book to read when the match is over, and enjoy the vibe. The Olathe Public Library hosts a chess night once a month from 5:30 to 7. Bring your family and see who is up for a game or search for a new match with no stakes. For a truly unique chess experience, the fifth floor roof of the KC Central Library in downtown is a must visit for the streetcar fans. That's the library at the library stop. So there you can find an enormous chessboard with pieces that come up to your chest. It's a bit of a workout to move them, which makes it all the more fun. Or for a fancier time, head out to the Kansas City Museum in the Northeast and find your way to the billiard room, where you can play chess in the opulence of Kansas City's first $1 million home. Finally, the area's best tabletop gaming stores and cafes, such as Cardboard Corner in Overland Park or Pine on Walnut downtown, also offer a place to play. You can likely find some fellow chess lovers or novices who are willing to face you. And today's adventure email was written by Shannon Carpenter. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and learn a little bit about the chess scene outside of our little insulated club bubble. And plenty of opportunity to play the Thinking Man's game. And I will also point out that a lot of interest came from the Queen's Gambit. And I will say, I saw the Queen's Gambit all the way through. And that's pretty much how tournaments are run. With one noticeable exception nowadays. We have never used this in any of our tournaments, but I am aware of it now. And it's the idea of adjournments. Within adjournments, it's late. You decide, let's resume this game in the morning. So what they'll do is, whoever's turn it is, he'll write his move inside an envelope, give it to the TD, and the next morning the TD opens that envelope, makes that next move, and play continues. All right. I learned about this from watching the Queen's Gambit. All right. But it's something we really don't do anymore, at least not with our club. So, anyway, that's this part of our Fortnight. And on to the next one. This is part 10 of our Fortnite challenge in regards to North American Soccer League versus the United States Soccer Federation lawsuit. For this one, I am going to read the article on this by Kartik Krishnaiyer. Kartik is a fellow soccer Twitter refugee, and by the way, worked for the NASL. So his article, I think, is the better article of the two, again, because he worked for the league in question. The working title is Antitrust Lawsuit, U.S. Soccer and MLS win, but consumers and the sport lose. You can find this on his Substack, by the way, Beyond the 90. As always, if there's something I need to interject with, I will. And we'll go from here. So U.S. Soccer and MLS have triumphed in an antitrust lawsuit that took 7.5 years to litigate. A jury found that NASL failed to prove that U.S. Soccer and MLS had conspired against it after less than 2 hours of deliberation. The verdict isn't surprising given the uneven nature of the U.S. judicial system, as well as the complexity of the issues in this case. So before I continue, this is why the World Cup should not be here. Okay. This is another example of the U.S. trying to follow its own rules to the world's game. They say, to hell with the rest of the world, let's just do whatever we want. No, that's not going to fly here. All right. Soccer is not our sport, it is the world's sport. We better fucking treat it as such. Moving on. So, Chris Yates of Latham and Watkins, representing USSF, said to The Atlantic he was, quote, pleased with the jury's verdict. Moments after the decision was read to the courtroom. There is no conspiracy here, he said. U.S. Soccer wants good relationships with all its members. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit 110% because of the way you people treated the NASL and the way you people are treating NISA. So, yeah, it's good to be a soccer league, but you better follow our rules. Fuck you if you decide to be independent. So, continuing on with the article, what the verdict means is instead of having a competitive business environment where upstarts and innovators can succeed, independent soccer, MLS and U.S. Soccer can continue to collude with one another subtly and restrict access to the marketplace. That is bad news for everyone who isn't associated with these two entities. It also means that the U.S. will continue to lag behind with where it should be in areas like player development, deepening the player pool, opening new metropolitan areas, or creating competitive derbies within large urban areas. So what does it mean by that? It is quite rare to see more than one team perform in a metropolitan area outside of New York and LA. Chicago's an exception with 2 baseball teams, but outside that, you usually only see one team per city. That's not the case in Europe. I think about the big derbies. I think Arsenal, Tottenham, both in North London. London has at least 14 clubs that are professional right now. Manchester City, Manchester United, both within the same city. Liverpool, Everton, both within the same city. AC Milan, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. All right, should I keep going? So here are the takeaways from Kartik. New information we learned. MLS apparently charged USL for management of the reserve clubs in the 2 USL professional divisions during the period from 2013 to 2021, when USL and MLS had a formal business relationship. For years, we believed the opposite was the case. I regularly defended MLS in recent years, claiming they had invested in the pyramid rather via their relationship with USL. In fact, it was USL that appears to have been giving money to MLS per a courtroom leak I received, proving once again U.S. soccer loves bottom-up economics, even when the rest of the world practices top-down solidarity. So not only a sick joke of a league, but they're paying the big dogs to let them participate. That's just wrong. That's just wrong, and completely in violation of the spirits of what soccer is supposed to be about. We also learned Rocco Commisso. Those not in the know, he owned the Cosmos and currently owns Fiorentina in Italy. When Rocco had a burner account on Twitter, big deal. Those promoting this as some sort of evidence of NASL's misdeeds can now safely crawl back into their dark corners of the internet, as opposed to the dozens, hundreds of burner accounts for USL sycophants. You know, on just one guy versus how many doing the dirty work for the other side? That's what I thought. Moving on. Complexity of issues. Too much to comprehend too quickly for a jury. Where have we seen this before lately? It's difficult to have worked in lower division soccer and to not believe the deck is either somewhat or firmly stacked against your club or your league. I have no doubt, and keep in mind, this is a guy who worked with the NASL. I have no doubt NASL made repeated mistakes in how they conducted their business in the 2014 to 2017 time period. I was at the forefront of critiquing NASL for bad business decisions and some pretty awful public rhetoric. However, much of this analysis was done within the context of understanding the deck was in fact stacked, and that the only way NASL could survive was to play ball with MLS and USSF rather than openly rocking the boat. But never at any point after the New York Cosmos joined NASL in summer of 2012, the turning points in the USSF, MLS, NASL relationship, in my opinion, I tend to agree here, was NASL given the sort of rope MLS had been given in its infancy, and NASL was given from splitting with USL. That's the important thing to remember here, that they split from USL because they recognize how big of a fucking joke the USL is. In fall of 2009 until mid-2012, I maintain to this day the need to kill off the Cosmos brand-motivated USSF and MLS to turn the screws on NASL. There we're getting somewhere conspiratorial here, and no, that's fine. That's his piece. I'm just reading it. So because the Cosmos, the biggest name from the old 80s NASL, decided they wanted to join this current NASL, and who can blame them? That they had to be silenced. That's what happened with Fort Lauderdale Strikers, by the way. I said earlier that situation was fucked up. The Strikers were put out of business and their assets bought by another team that turned to the Alliance, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So the Rowdies hold the trademarks on all things Fort Lauderdale Strikers, with the sole intention that the Strikers never field another team. Okay, tell me that's not fucked up. The complexity of business issues that impact lower division soccer in the U.S. is hard enough to explain to soccer fans in this country over the course of many years, so I will not expect a jury to get it in just a few short weeks. But something often not talked about is the relationship between Soccer United Marketing, SUM, and USSF, which allowed USSF to effectively subsidize MLS via SUM during the period in question, 2011 to 2017. Shockingly, the formal relationship wasn't properly papered in terms of contracts until after the NASL filed its litigation in 2017, though it has long been in place. Character assassination works. Traffic got what it deserved, but Rocco Commisso did not. So I kind of left this off when reading the article for our Snowed In episode. But I'm again trusting Kartik on his judgment here, having worked in the league. And character assassination, we've been seeing that a lot lately politically. And I've been the victim of character assassination too. So, but here we go, continuing with the article. Traffic Sports certainly deserves every critique they elicit. USSF and MLS attorney realized by bringing the issue of traffic into the conversation, they could impugn NASL's motives and very existence. Once again, the very existence came about because USL was fucking incompetent. All right. Smart for the USSF and MLS attorneys, and I also believe former Cosmos owner CLS Sports were very much at the forefront of NASL's downfall by pushing a rhetorical campaign that couldn't match on or off the pitch in terms of quality. Sila and his foreign-based Cosmos management team also could not generate enough revenue, even on the backs of the Cosmos name, to make the club a viable business from 2012 to 2016. But what I have not liked at all the last 8 years since Rocco Commisso saved the Cosmos from folding is the attacks he had endured. Commisso is most certainly a polarizing figure, and one whose personality lends itself to easy caricatures. But he's also a man who put his money where his mouth was and maintained one of the most powerful brands in the history of U.S. soccer. While he was doing this, a whisper campaign ensued that defined Commisso, leading to unfavorable press coverage of NASL's claims and to the league in general. By all accounts, this continued in the courtroom, albeit in a subtler fashion. My view has been, if given the runway, Commisso would have been able to make the Cosmos brand and its affiliated entities, NASL or MPSL Pro, very visible and viable business entities. I would throw NISA into that too. But the runway was never granted, and USSF made it difficult for the league to get to first base after Commisso bought the club, which was complicated by the bad business practices of his predecessor's stewardship of the Cosmos. If Commisso is to blame for anything, it's not doing his proper due diligence about both U.S. Soccer and CLS Sports ownership of the Cosmos. But recall in December 2016, Commisso only had days to save the club and had to pull the trigger quickly or walk away. For those who think Commisso's burner Twitter accounts, global soccer fan, is some sort of revelation. Social media has long been filled with apparent bots or perhaps MLS employees running burners, parroting MLS and U.S. soccer talking points. I believe I just said something like that. So, I'm sure many of our readers and loyal subscribers have experienced the lynch mob mentality treatment from those who take any critique of MLS online as some sort of personal attack on themselves. The very tone of the pushback of MLS fans on Twitter has always indicated to me that these posters are so personally invested in MLS, they must somehow be connected to the league. Impact on USL. Now, before I continue here, a couple of notes. One, I mentioned this in the initial episode on this in the Snowed Out, but how many waivers did USL need to buy their way up to Division II status compared to only 2 that the NASL needed? And yet they were allowed to survive. Yeah, fuck you for that. Also, USL was Division III during this entire time, and yet they allowed a Division III club, Orlando City, to buy their way to the first division, bypassing the second division altogether. Fuck you for that, too. Imagine, I'll use an example for the 2024-25 English season. Birmingham City or Wrexham, both are doing pretty well in League One, but under no circumstances would they just jump the championship directly into the Premier League. All right, that's effectively what Orlando City did, and a special fuck you to Phil Rollins, the Orlando City owner who made this bullshit happen. If there's any, that's why I say to this day, if there's any one club that epitomizes everything that is wrong with MLS and U.S. soccer, period, it's fucking Orlando City. So, fuck them. May they burn in hell. But continuing on with this article, so impact on USL. USL's league structure is currently in a much stronger position than NASL ever was, but I wouldn't be feeling too comfortable with this verdict if I were the Papadakis family. It's pretty clear MLS is trying to push USL out of the way, while MLS Next Pro hasn't yet gained the traction I had expected in its battle with USL. It feels like USL cannot make any mistakes going forward in terms of expansion or vetting of ownership groups, now that MLS has taken the unprecedented step of launching its own lower division infrastructure. And one last note, I know the USL sycophants are saying, oh, they're setting up for promotion and relegation, and okay, prove it. Prove it. All right. The time for talk is over. And while we're on this subject, if different business models are what's keeping MLS from participating in promotion and relegation, then fucking buy out the USL and set it up as a promotion relegation system. All right. The time for talk on this is over. Okay. So thank you, Kartik, for writing this, and keep up the good work. And a sad day for independent soccer, period. we are now at part 11 of our Fortnight challenge, and we've only done In Memoriam once on the podcast, even though we've commemorated a ton of stuff to the deceased. But this one, I just need to get something out there for this one. Reading from our local CBS station, Channel 5. Victim identified after deadly motorcycle crash shuts down portion of Olathe Interstate. So, dated February 3rd, 2025. So, happened a couple days ago. Looks like. So, yeah. All right, I'm just going to read the article and tell you what's going on from there. So, Lenexa man is dead after his motorcycle went off the highway on the in the early morning hours of Monday, February 3rd. I'm recording this February 5th, and I found out about today on a day where classes were canceled because of ice on the roadways. Spoiler alert, I was already in Blue Springs. I had already driven all the way across town to try to get to work. Well, I got the news that classes had been canceled. So, let's continue. So, the call came into Olathe PD about 1:20 a.m. for a crash at Interstate 35 and 151st Streets in Olathe. Responding officers found a male motorcyclist who was pronounced dead at the scene. So for those of you who aren't in the KC area, let me explain that particular interchange. You have 151st Street, you have Interstate 35, and you have K7, which I think either 69 or 169 runs along with all interchanging together at that site. And there are a couple bridges going over each other. It is a clusterfuck of an intersection in the best of circumstances. And it's very near the former site of the Great Mall of the Great Plains. So, but we're coming to the important thing, the in memoriam part of it. So the man was later identified as 46-year-old James R. Woodrow of Lenexa, Kansas. Investigators are still working to determine what caused the crash. Anyone with information regarding this investigation is asked to call Olathe PD or the TIPS hotline. The accident led to the closure of northbound I-35 at 169 for several hours. Scene investigators cleared the area, and the interstate reopened at about 5 a.m. So, yeah, rest in peace, James. James was another high school buddy of mine. We were in ROTC together all 4 years. In fact, during our senior year, he was our battalion commander. Our unit was large enough that it was battalion size. 2 companies, Alpha and Bravo company, and each company had 3 platoons, and each platoon had 3 squads, and so on. And James was our leader. Good guy. I remember when we were in RTC, his dream was to join the Marines, but he was not eligible to I believe it was asthma is what kept him out. We'd been Facebook friends for quite a few years, but this gets to the impetus of one of the impetuses of me starting this podcast in the first place was to reconnect with guys like at James Woodrow. I might be Facebook friends with them, but odds are I haven't seen a lot of these guys in years, and just want to reach out and reconnect with them. And that's one of the reasons I do this podcast. So sadly, rest in peace, James. You will be missed. And I'll say when I see you, brother. Respect. And hoorah. Okay, so we're at part 12 now of our Fortnight challenge. It is the Saturday before St. Archuleta's Day. Go back and listen to that episode real quick. But in the spirit of that holiday, found this on the Facebook, Nebula, Loneliness Archetype Reading. Why are you single? Take a test to discover what's holding you back and unlock your path to live today. And there's a link, appnebula.co. So let's do this. And y'all get to hear me as I take this little test. So why are you single? One man says, I am male. How can you best describe your love life right now? I'm not in a relationship, in between relationships, in an unhappy relationship, stuck in a situationship, rather. I can't get over my ex, and I'm seeking the first relationship. I am not in one. Okay, set your go. Come on. What is your goal right now? Feel loved and desired. Understand why I am single. Find out my love timing. Stop feeling lonely. Improve my love life. Other, please specify. Feel loved and desired. Yeah. 90% reporting feeling love as an important aspect of personal happiness. Let's complete your puzzle. Okay, congratulations, you've completed the first step, identifying your goal, feeling loved and desired. What was the durationship of your longest relationship? Less than 3 months. Why can relationships fall apart? Select all that resonate. No attraction, too many conflicts, different values, absence of trust, lack of interest, I was betrayed, we grew apart, other. Because if I knew, I wouldn't be taking this test now, would I? We get you. Your perspective on loneliness shapes your archetype. Shifting your perspective can empower you to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships. What's your favorite activity? Being physically active, expressing my creativity, trying new hobbies, reading or watching a movie, eating a favorite meal, spending time with my pets, or other. Let's go with expressing my creativity. Probably the best one of the bunch. I'm expressing it right now. Do you wish you could share it with someone? Yes! How often do you go on dates? A few times a week, a few times a month, a few times a year? Never. Currently, never. How do you feel about meeting new people? I usually feel comfortable. I often feel awkward. I don't mind. It depends on people. Awkward. How do you react when someone shows interest in you? I get shy. I get awkward. I distance myself. I feel disgusted. I show interest in return. I don't react in any way. No, this is a good one. This is one where you people have stumped me. Let's say show interest in return. Show interest in return. Come on. Okay. Here we go. Come on. Come on. We'll have to put music in this part here because it did not want to work right now. Not the way I wanted to. Okay. It's challenging out there. Modern dating is tough, but we're here to help you discover new approaches that boost your confidence and increase your chances of finding the right match. Confidence level, 52% average, 92% Nebula user. The average user feels lonely 30% of the time, but Nebula users report a 40% boost in confidence and well-being after 2 weeks. Okay, continue. 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 Okay, what's your worst relationship habit? Ignoring my needs, oversharing, getting defensive too early, ignoring my partner's needs, being too clingy, failing to see red flags, distancing when things move too fast, or other. Because I must be doing something wrong, but I don't know what it is. Come on, you piece of crap. And Marshall is responsible for doing this site, clearly. Can you take care of someone else's needs? I would think so, yeah. It's tough being on your own. There's a perfect person, but there's a perfect person for you. If that were true, I would have met her by now. 46 years old, come on. He's also to blame for the greenhouse effect, federal deficit, Sanjaya, remaining on American Idol, long odds at the drive-through, and me losing even more hair than I already have. What kind of road do you mention yourself on right now? Busy city streets, a twisting mountain trail, a forest path, or a desert path? Oh, the city, come on. What kind of life partner do you wish you had by your side? Loyal, respectful, communicative, intelligent, successful, resilient, sensual, attentive, empathetic, ambitious, affectionate, attractive. Those are the options available. This thing is fucking slow, I tell you. What statements best describes your life philosophy? I want partners to share my goals, passion, and excitement to keep me going. Personal growth is my focus. I prefer deep, inspiring connections. Independence is my priority. Love is a fun adventure, and trust and loyalty are crucial. Due to life circumstances, we go with the independence one. You can be happier. Finally, to determine your archetype, we need to examine your loneliness level. 30% emotional stability. Spending mindful time alone boosts emotional balance and stress resilience. If that were true, I would not be I'd be less of a wreck than I am. I have a lot in common with the people around me. Do you agree with this statement? Neither agree nor disagree. I feel that others always look at my faults. Agree. I feel empty even when I'm engaged in something. Strongly agree. I'm happy about who I am. Neither agree nor disagree. I feel alone even in a group. Strongly agree. We've taken 335,986 people to fight loneliness, understand their destiny, and make their lives unburdened by low confidence and doubt. Determining your archetype determined. Congratulations, you've completed the archetype section. Continue. Okay, date of birth. Time of birth. That's oddly specific, but okay. Place you're born. Memoriam. What element resonates with you most? Fire, earth, water, and air. I have a fiery temper. I'll go fire. Color, mine is a brown. Let our AI scan your hand. So, palm reading. Take a picture now. This time. Allow. Got it. Take a picture now. Allow what was in the set. What the fuck, dude? Camera access required. Please make sure. Okay, alright. Take a picture. Allow. Take a picture. Oh, God damn it. Closing blows for other amps. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm recording for a fucking podcast here. So, okay. Well, you know what? Fuck you too. That's what I gotta say to this site. So, yeah. There we go. Part 12 in the books. I guess we'll continue now with part 12. Had to take a photo of my hand, and I'm going to be uploading it to this site. Okay. Still on the same site. Okay, do you like me on? No, I really don't. So, aside from the line, do you self-reflect? Well, isn't that the point of this podcast? Yes, I self-reflect. Are you an empathetic person? I'd like to think so. Okay, and analyzing the thumb, index. So basically, it's doing a palm reading type deal, and I gotta tell you, I'm not really the biggest fan of palm reading. Okay. We are preparing a detailed palm reading crafted exclusively for you. Based on what we can discern, we will... Okay. Email address. Okay, I will go ahead and do that. Just confirm. Just to confirm, you want to receive emails so don't miss out on anything. To get access, I just want the reading. Welcome to Nebula. Based on your answers and your loneliness level, we created your loneliness archetype reading to help you feel loved and desired. Begin your new life away from loneliness today. And now they want money. So yeah, that's where we're going to end this. Cause yeah, I'm not giving you my money. All right. So we will wrap up part 12 of the Fortnight right now. So on to part 13. Okay, so we're at part 13. We're almost done with this. So I thought we'd devote this portion of our Fortnight to high school alignments in the Kansas City area. Sorry to all the small schools. We're just focusing on the big schools today. This came about because of what GA and I discussed when I had him on, and which schools actually make up the Sunflower League and so on. So here we go. These are schools in the Sunflower League, which is basically most Johnson County schools plus Lawrence. No, this is not an excuse to include Lawrence as part of the Greater KC area. That will never happen. And no, Leavenworth is no longer in our league. So whoever did the Wikipedia, you can cross out Leavenworth County because Leavenworth is no longer part of the league. So here it is as of February 2025, the Sunflower League. And we start with our good friends at Gardner Edgerton High School, the Trailblazers. Shout out to them, and once again, congrats on being Class 6A football champions. Shout Shout out to Bubba and his son, the star quarterback for the Trailblazers. And that was I had a great time at the sub-state the state semifinal, and all that. And I wish you guys nothing but success unless you're playing the Vikings, of course. We have the Chesty Lions of Lawrence High School in Lawrence, Kansas. And the other Lawrence school, Lawrence Free State, they're called the Firebirds, and they're in northwestern Lawrence, whereas the University of Lawrence, scratch that, Lawrence High School is like within walking distance of the University of Kansas, specifically within walking distance of Allen Fieldhouse. So, then we have Mill Valley High School, which is in the DeSoto district, but DeSoto High is not in the league with us. It's just their thing. It's in Western Shawnee. It's in part of Western Shawnee, Western Lenexa, we collectively call Monticello. And they are the Jaguars. What's notable about them, I guess Nate Dogg has his kids going here. But what's notable about Mill Valley is that when I was doing Mayor Badge Forum, we did some Mayor Badge Forums at this specific high school. And I distinctly recall it was doing Mayor Badge Forum at this high school that we had to come up with our list of things that the Scouts could and could not put in our films. So here's the short list. No weapons of any kind. No gay marriage. That was insisted upon by the Scoutmasters, because this was during a time when gays were still not fully allowed in scouting. And the language had to be PG-13. All right. So, yeah, now I'm going to move on to the Olathe schools. So, Olathe East, the Hawks. I still have nightmares about them. Olathe North, the Eagles. For a long time, one of the class teams in Kansas high school football. This is where Darren Sproles and all those great guys went to high school. Olathe Northwest, the Ravens. I was there within the past year to run a chess tournament, but very nice setup. And at one time, the principal was Todd Dane. Olathe South, the Falcons. Been there for some sort of Indian, and I mean Indian festival, doing probably the worst video work of my life. Never again. And the newest Olathe school, Olathe West, the Owls. So they're the Sheffield Wednesday. The setup. And of course, got our Shine Mission district. So we have East, the Lancers. Then we have North, who recently changed their name. They were the Indians for the longest time. They are now known as the Bison. Northwest is the Cougars. And Northwest, we were holding merit badge forums at Northwest when I was in Scouts. So that's pretty cool. Our big rival, Shine Mission South, the Raiders. You can see this school from the interstates, namely 435. Like literally on the boundary between Shawnee Mission and Blue Valley. And of course, my Shawnee Mission. Can't talk. Shawnee Mission West Vikings. All right. West is the best, so screw all the rest. Well, wait, by the way, I didn't mention Blue Valley at all. So, where's Blue Valley? Well, there's another league called the Eastern Kansas League, which is all the Blue Valley schools. So Blue Valley North, Blue Valley Northwest, Blue Valley Southwest, and Blue Valley West. And I think this is where GA got confused, because I don't remember Campbell going to Olathe. I do remember going to Blue Valley West when they first opened. Well, there you go. And rounding off this particular league, the Eastern Kansas League, joining all the Blue Valley schools, we have St. Thomas Aquinas, Bishop Miege, and St. James Academy, all three of which are Catholic schools. Bishop Miege in Roland Park Fairway area near the old Shawnee Indian Mission site, which you can still visit to this day. Aquinas is right next to Johnson County Community College. And St. James is western Lenexa in that Monticello region along... once you cross a certain point, it ceases being 95th Street and becomes Prairie Star Parkway. But, Ski, where did Leavenworth go? Well, here's your answer there. Shout out to 810varsity.com for getting us getting their website set up. But Leavenworth now play in the United Kansas Conference along with DeSoto High School. Basehor, Linwood, Seaman, they're out of Topeka, Lansing, Piper, that's Western KCK, Shawnee Heights, that is Topeka West, and Turner. Turner is South KCK. And then I do have to give a shout out to the Meadowlark League as well, because that's local KC schools. Highland Park, I have no idea where that is. I can look it up. Washington, that's KCK Atchison. Harmon, also KCK Schlegel. Schlegel, that's where Santa Fe played home games in UPSL. Play. Sumner Academy and Wyandotte High School make up the Meadowlark. I might as well bring up the Frontier League as well, because there are a couple of local schools here. So we have Spring Hill, that's right on the Johnson-Miami County line. Lewisburg, Tonganoxie, Ottawa, Eudora, Paola, Baldwin, and Bonner Springs. Fun fact, Bonner Springs High sits right on the county line between Wyandotte and Leavenworth counties. I think that really does do it for local schools in the main Kansas City area. So we got that, and I'm more than happy to turn some attention to the Missouri side of things. Because I fucking work there, and B, why not just get the entire metro taken care of. So with the metro, we have the big Greater Kansas City Suburban Association, which covers schools in 5 different counties, which is set up in, they have 4 divisions, and there's a bit of promotion relegation based on enrollment. So here we go, the member schools of the Greater Kansas City Suburban Association, and boy, is that a mouthful. We have Belton, where our co-host Heather occasionally does substitute teaching. We have Blue Springs High, go Wildcats. Till recently they had a freshman center where I would teach, and I still teach in that school district to this day. Blue Springs South, the Jaguars. We have Excelsior Springs. We have Fort Osage. If that name rings a bell to anyone, that is the school that Albert Pujols graduated from, just due north of Blue Springs. Then we have Grand Valley to the east of Blue Springs. We have Grandview, at the infamous Triangle. We have Kearney, which is about there. We have Lee Summit North, Lee Summit West, Liberty North. We have North KC. We have Oak Park, which is North KC District, and is actually in Gladstone. In fact, not too far from where you'll find me on most Tuesday nights right now. We have Park Hill. Shout out to the Park Hill District. Park Hill High, not too far from Zona Rosa. Actually, then Park Hill South kind of overlooks the Missouri River there in Platte County. And Platte County High. Go Pirates. Then we have Raymore Peculiar back out south. And we have Raytown South, Ruskin, the Seoul High School in the Hickman Mills District, and there's no Hickman Mills High, it's just Ruskin. They have Smithville. They have Staley, North KC District, and out in the middle of goddamn nowhere. We have St. Joseph Central. So, shout out to St. Joe. I didn't know a Kansas City-centric conference would go that far. But, oh well, we have Lawrence in the Summit Sunflower League, so there you go. They have Truman High and William Chrisman High, both independent school districts, both along Nolan Road. And we have Wentonka, which was the closest school to our old office, and is also North Kansas City school district. Then we've got the Missouri River Valley West Conference. This has Center High School, which is South KC, along with Warrensburg, Pleasant Hill, Odessa, Oak Grove, Harrisonville, and Clinton. And we have the Interscholastic League. This is all inner city schools. So we have East, Northeast, Central, Southeast, and Lincoln Prep. Lincoln Prep, I'll go and add, is right next door to the former site of Municipal Stadium, the precursor to what we have today for the pro teams. And, of course, that itself has since been torn down and replaced with housing. We have Midland Empire District, Midland Empire Conference, rather, with St. Pius X, which is a Northland Catholic school. With Maryville, Savannah, Chillicothe, Cameron, St. Joe, Benson, and St. Joe Lafayette. All right. We have a bunch of independent schools. The ones I know locally include Pembroke Hill, where, well, we teach at the lower school at Pembroke. We don't teach at the high school. Rockhurst, not to be confused with Rockhurst University. St. Michael's, and Hogan Prep. I think that might actually do it for just our local. Oh wait, there's a Crossroads Conference, which has Van Horn, which is Independence School District now, but it's located within Kansas City proper. So that's interesting. We have Summits Summit Christian, I never heard of that one. And University Academy, that's a charter school run by UMKC. So that's pretty cool. And then it has others, which include a lot of schools out of St. Louis. There's a KCI conference, but all these schools are outside of what I would consider the Kansas City metro proper. But, oh well. So, there we go. GA, Blue Valley Difference Conference, then that's all together. There we go. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of our Fortnight challenge. So, as you know, I'm in Kansas City, and I'm proud of our streetcar. We got 2 extensions being, one is completely built and should be open in just a few months. That'd be the Main Street extension, going from Union Station down to the UMKC campus. So that's done. In fact, they had a big party after they had all the track put in at the plaza stop of the extension in December, which you could imagine was pretty damn cold. Just this past week, the week I'm recording this, they did a construction to tie in the riverfront extension, which should be done in the next couple of months. So that's pretty cool too. And hopefully it doesn't stop there, because we do know that there are a couple plans in the works right now, at least in terms of studies. Right, gotta have those studies to justify getting matching government dollars. Although I don't know how likely it is right now with Donnie Dumbfuck ruining everything. But the studies will continue. And there are 2 that we've talked about on the podcast before. The North Rail, which they hired a outside firm to look at that plan for a little while longer. But that would be the one going from the river markets up to North KC, so over the Missouri River. And most likely they would run it down Swift Street, which is 2 blocks east of Burlington, which is the main street there. And then, of course, the east-west route we've talked about running from Main Street, going west along 39th to KU Med, so it would actually cross the state line a little bit. And then the other part would be going east from Maine down Linwood all the way to Van Braun 40 Stadium Drive. All right. And that one, east-west, I feel might be a little further along, just because they already have plans works out and determined you'll need a second depot to handle all the new streetcars, and we have to double the size of the fleet. So that was another part of all this is it went from 6 streetcars up to 14, and then to satisfy the east-west route, it'd have to double again. Right. Why stop there? And what would future routes look like? Which for that I consulted the KC Area Transit Authority website, and as well as MARC, the Mid-American Regional Council, which is a multi-government body that looks at the local issues like transits. Do they do a good job? I don't know. But so I looked at some of those and came up with the following for future streetcar routes. Number one, we can start with Max Line. So this is our bus rapid transit service, which mixed results, but the streetcar line does go along the original route for the Main Street Max Line, which I guess now has shifted, using mostly Grand and Broadway now, but continues further south than where the streetcar goes. The streetcar's going to stop at UMKC, but the Max Line goes all the way out to Waldo. So that's a possibility. You can just pick up from UMKC and go from there. Reutilize that trolley trail, which I believe is still owned by the HCA, and get her down to Waldo. That's a possibility. Troost, another possibility, because that's also a Max Line, and that one would service Rockhurst, and Troost is the Divine Line, not only unfortunately the racial Divine Line of the city, but also the Divine Line between UMKC to the west and Rockhurst to the east. So why not service both? Yeah. And my understanding that the Troost line for the bus actually goes out to a site I'm going to bring up a little later on. And the third one is along Prospect, basically the main streets of the African American portion of our city. That area could use all the help it could get, but that's just me. We consulted with the Smart Moves. They identified a few more routes for, they termed it high frequency transits. So these are basically the major streets throughout the Metro. One, they've already done a study on, and I continue to insist they put rail on it. I'm not just talking streetcars at this point. I'm also including heavier rail, commuter rail, that sort of thing. As the green corridor, that's basically US 24 and or as we call it, State Avenue in KCK and Independence Avenue in KC Mo into Independence. There is absolutely no reason they can't put rail on this, especially if they're touting this as a green transit corridor. So let's stop being cheapos and look at getting rail on this thing. Then we have another idea, cousin of North Rail, and that's North Oak. So a little dirty secret that I mentioned Burlington Street earlier. Yeah, at the end of the state line of North KC, when it becomes KC North, there's a fork in the road. So one way is I think it's Highway 9 going to Riverside and Parkville, taking a stop in Briarcliff on the way, and the other, it becomes North Oak, which is a significant thoroughfare in the Northland. And full disclosure, our offices are on North Oak now. So yeah, that is a possibility. Running some form of rail down North Oak, either picking up from North Rail or branching off from North Rail, taking Burlington and all that stuff. So that's only for civic engineers to figure out, but yeah, that would be a possibility too. And of course, my neck of the woods, Johnson County. From the plaza, you could easily run down Ward Parkway into Cheyenne Mission Parkway and have a stop in Mission before it could branch onto two roads. One going down Metcalf, basically the main street of Johnson County, and the other going down Guevara, which hits, I would say, 3 sites of significant importance to people in JC: Oak Park Mall, Johnson County Community College, and the KU Regents Center, or whatever you want to call it now. So those are other possibilities for our lines, but let's get rail. They also need to find ways to connect these transit centers all over the metro. And here they are. So 3 trails. This is Bannister and Blue Ridge Boulevard, so southeastern Kansas City, almost Raytown area. My understanding is that the Troost bus line services this. So I think it goes down Troost and then go east along Bannister all the way out to Blue Ridge. So passing the former Bannister Mall sites and so on. So yeah, that's one. Another one is I was just talking about 3rd and Grant a little bit ago, because that's where the tie-in was recently built for the riverfront extension at the intersection of 3rd and Grand, or as it appears on the streetcar map now, River Market North. But is it going to be called River Market North for much longer? Because the most recently updated map for the streetcar identifies that spot as just River Market. And they're putting in a second platform to serve as northbound for the riverfront extension. And the existing platform would continue with southbound travelers. So yeah, it's I got one transit center attached to this. Although technically Union Station is classed as a transit center, and the Plaza stop is built as a transit center. And when East-West is built, Van Brunt will be class transit center. 70th Prospect. This is Southside Casey along Prospect. There's a outfit there right now called Alpha Points, which does work with the blind, with and for the blind people. So, especially if you're gonna follow my suggestion, puts a line on Prospect. Yeah, there you go. Then we've got Boardwalk Square. This is in the Northland, 29 in Barrie. Look, if you're going to eventually run rail to the airports, and I severely suggest that you do so. One thing about doing two sets of rail, one, the express route between downtown and the airport, and the other a little slower with a few stops, and this has to be one of them. This would service all the developments around I-29 and Barrie, including, but not limited to, Zona Rosa. Downtown KCK at 7th and Minnesota. See what I said about the green corridor I mentioned earlier. This needs to be included with this. East Village, where there's currently nothing. You can still run stuff down to East Village. And of course, I would hope that the East Village is still being looked at by the Royals. Other than that, that transit center is the only thing that's really there. So, going back to that green corridor, there's the Independence Transit Center at Nolan Road and Sherman Road, near old Independence Square. So that should be considered a stop. And then for these last four, we have Midtown KCK, so 47th and State. I think I'm going to look this up, but I think that's the old Indian Springs Mall site near 635. Oh, another connector that could be looked at, which is currently nothing, except for probably a police station and stuff. They never bothered refilling that lot. So, but trust me, there used to be a mall at that site. So you could do that, especially green corridor once again. Put some fucking rail on that thing, right? And then the last three are on Johnson County. So we start with Mission Transit, right on Johnson Drive. And on the subject of depots, the old Mission Mall sites just down the street, that would be an excellent place to put a depot for Johnson County-based streetcars. All right. And then the other two are along would both be along the Quivira corridor. They are Oak Park Mall and Johnson County Community College. Specifically, when I was going there, it was the Carlson Center, but the big building with the theaters at the front of the campus. Yeah, that's where they should put a stop as well. And then I'll have to address other routes. I know there's been talk about getting stuff to the airport. I know there's been talk about doing some inner city that would also service St. Joe, Lawrence, and Topeka. Parenthetically, that would have to service the airport. Certainly a St. Joe route would have to service the airport, and Platte City, just outside of the airport. And you'd have to take a look at the Rock Island corridor, which is currently owned by Jackson County. Basically running from where the stadiums are to Lee's Summit. Is currently being used as a hiking trail. But they can use that for transits in the future, and I hope they do. The other extremities of the metro, they need to get some form of a route out to like Blue Springs, Green Valley area. They need to service Liberty. The airport, I already mentioned, they need to service Gardner. So one thing that was made clear to me at that open house for the riverfront extensions, they want to do a better job of servicing Gardner, southwestern corner of Johnson County, and that would in turn also service Olathe, which is absent from our list here. But they need to be service and the I-49, excuse me, or I-29 is in the Northland going up to the airport. I-49 is the one that goes south. That would be needed to service Grandview, Belton, those southern suburbs. So I understand that funding is an issue. I get it, but let's, just like with all this other stuff, let's get some plans going. And then you can go from there, but I think that's the most basic that will need to be required. And of course, if we were to start planning now, we would be looking at 10 years down the road for all this to be implemented. Start planning now. That's all. And especially if we want to be serious about cutting down on our carbon outputs, because let's be honest, transportation is a big reason for all that stuff. So yeah, let's get it done. And that will end our Fortnight challenge. So yeah, 14 different recordings on different subjects, and yeah, we'll just end it with that. So I want to thank y'all for listening and keep supporting the podcast, and we will talk soon. This podcast is Uncalled For. It is hosted, produced, and edited by myself, Mike Chernevsky. Our opening music is This Podcast is Uncalled For theme, courtesy of Suno.com, Suno.com. Throughout this episode, we heard our instrumental homage to Fortnight by Taylor Swift, also produced at Suno.com, Suno.com. And other music used in this episode includes No Frills Salsa Alternate by Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com, and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution License.
Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive Uncalled For merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.